Good morning, friends. This is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to share your daily aspects. Today is Tuesday, December 7, 2021. The sun is in Sagittarius, and while we stand in this influence, we tend to be more flexible, adaptable, and open to changes. Expectations give way to more hopeful, positive demeanor as we dive into the Yule season and the spectacle of lights here and now in the time of year most dominated by the night. The moon begins in Capricorn today, making ingress to Aquarius early this morning. This represents another shift in the heart and home from cardinal earth to fixed air, from ambitious work-to-do vibes to collaboration and engagement in the collective. And the waxing crescent phase energy of this moon invites us to visualize what it will be like to carry out the intentions we set with the new moon. We make plans now and we begin to put them into action this Friday with the first quarter moon. Visualize and plan. Okay, let's take a look at the planetary and aspect energies before we get into any further interpretations. I have prepared a legend of the symbols we're working with today so that we can have an idea what energies are in play, and we're just going to go over those really quick. At the top of the list, we have the sun. The sun represents our outer life. That is who we are when we step out the door, the person that people get to know when they meet us for the first time, and also how we engage in our social, civic, and work spheres. Next on the list, we have the moon. The moon represents our inner life. This is who we are on the inside, our relationship with ourselves, our emotions and intuitions, what we know, and also how we engage in our domestic sphere, who we're at home with and where we are at home. Mercury represents the intellect, especially our day-to-day thoughts, communications, and plans that we make, as well as our traveling around. Neptune represents our connection to humanity, the connection to the human spirit, our human connection to spirit. There are lots of ways that you could look at that. It's a big idea to reduce into a little bit of a phrase. Saturn represents our responsibility, the responsibilities that we take on to maintain the networks and structures that support us and our loved ones. Mars represents initiative, your personal fire under your butt, whatever drives you, whatever makes you passionate. Jupiter represents growth and expansion and generally positive vibrations, good fortune. Uranus represents doing things differently, so it often brings about some changes. Chiron is about our healing, and Pluto relates to the extreme ends of the story, so the deaths and rebirths, the endings and beginnings, and also just the depths of emotion and intuition that we can reach. As far as aspect energies go, we have an ingress. Ingress indicates transition. Literally, a planetary body is moving from one sign into the next, so you're going to get a change of influence in relationship to that planetary body. Squares on the board, these represent challenges. Conjunct represents an amplification of the energies of both of the planets involved. A sextile is a positive aspect. This vibration is cooperative and it tends to generate good outcomes. Signs of mention on the page today are Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces down here with the first quarter moon on Friday. So, with all of that said, I have divided our aspects into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon sheds light on our inner lives, setting the tone for our emotional and domestic experiences. The moon moves very quickly, creating many brief aspects that represent ambient energies that may be felt as emotions or intuitions that occur to us throughout the day. The sun, on the other hand, sheds light on our outer lives, setting the tone for our more social experiences. And I address the rest of the planets and their aspects on the side because they last longer and they have more of an impact on our actions out in the world. We start with the moon today. Central Standard Time, friends. At 5:48 a.m., the moon made ingress into Aquarius. So moon in Aquarius calls our attention back out to the community and the human collective. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So it has our hearts asking us to look for new ways that we can all connect, collaborate, and move forward. This is a 2.5 day transit. Connect and collaborate. Then at 9:43 this evening, the moon runs conjunct with Saturn. Now this is a vibration that can make us feel a little extra. Conjunct amplifies, right? A little extra feelings of seriousness, of sobriety. We may even seem to be somewhat aloof. Our intimate relationships may get some cooling time here. We just feel a little bit of distance. It's a good time for quiet contemplation, especially if we're going to sit and contemplate those responsibilities that we've taken on, the structures that support us. This aspect lasts 2 hours. Serious and sober in the heart and home. Potential for good quiet time. And then around the bend on the clock, Wednesday morning at 1:01 a.m., the moon makes a square with Uranus. This is the heart and home meeting, doing things differently with a challenging aspect. So we may experience some impatience or some jumpy, excitable behavior. This is a very don't tell me what to do kind of rebellious feeling aspect. Good thing it's in the middle of the night. I'll probably sleep right through it. But if you do find yourself up in the middle of the night feeling sort of anxious or jumpy or excitable, it's okay to act and to try to do things differently, to try to feel things differently. But if we're going to change the way something is happening in our heart and our home, we probably want to talk with our domestic partners there. So the lunar energy signature for today appears to have us mostly in our heads. Aquarius is an air sign. We'll be enjoying collaboration until the evening, where we might prefer some quiet time. As for the sun side of the page, in the ongoing column, we still have Saturn sextile Chiron for another few days till the 10th. So it's been a couple of weeks, and we've talked about checking our natal Chiron placements, that they might not be in our regular birth chart. We might have to look them up. And we've talked about looking back on what we've learned and bringing it out to reinforce our networks for stability. I have a couple of questions. One of them is, how would we recognize it if we saw that someone else was bringing their wisdom in to strengthen their bond with the group? And my other question is, when we see them doing that, how would we show them that we see their efforts to improve the connection? How do we appreciate people bringing their wisdom to strengthen their bonds with us and in the networks that we're in? And I don't have any really good answers to those questions, but I do notice, for example, in my own workplace, this is just that time of year where, the nights are longer, the days are really short, it's cold, so we put up a bunch of lights, we put up the little trees and the Yule stuff, and people start coming with gifts and treats. They make baked goods, or they get candy, or they, bring little jingle bells and lights and stuff to exchange with one another. And this is, it's gift giving, but it's also just, it's a way of checking in on the people who are in our networks and letting them know that we care about them, right? And that we care about the bond that we share, and we care about the network that we are part of, and its strength. And so to show our appreciation, that's a good question. Probably kind of the same kind of things. So we would, You know, if somebody wants to give you a small gift, it wouldn't be inappropriate to return the favor. But even if you're not going to, like, I'm not a person who does a lot of gift buying or putting things together like that. What I do is I'll just have a conversation with somebody and I'll say, hey, you know, I saw what you did there and I appreciate your attention to what we're doing here and trying to keep it strong and trying to keep it friendly and flowing. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for being that person. Also in the ongoing column, we have Mars sextile Pluto. This is day 2 of 4. For this aspect, this gives us a boost of ambitious energy. It lends us some endurance and stamina. This is a time when new beginnings are really sort of blessed with a positive generative capacity. So choose a course of action, and this aspect will actually help you commit you to seeing through to the goal, to the end. Endings and beginnings. Mars is like ambition and drive and really just about beginnings. And Pluto is about seeing it through to the end. So this one comes around once a year and it lasts for about 4 days. And it's a really good time to, you know, if you're thinking about starting a project or doing something a little bit differently, doing something a little bit new for yourself, stepping outside the box a little bit, this is the time to do it. As for today, on the sun side of the page at 9:16 a.m., Mercury runs square to Neptune. So this aspect can actually, you know, this is the intellect, the personal intellect, and our relationship to the human collective in a challenging position. So this can actually bring us some distorted perception, some confusion, specifically in dealing with people out in the world in our work and civic spheres. Let's stick to our communication basics, okay, and leave our intuitive hunches out. Let's not assume that we understand how anybody feels or what somebody thinks about something. We want to be very intentional about our communication during this 2-day aspect. This comes around 2 or 3 times a year, and it really just helps remind us to have personal discipline and dedication to careful communication, because sometimes we get to know people pretty well, or we think we get to know people pretty well, and we're working with them, or, you know, we're out in the civic sphere with them, and we think we understand, but then we might do something that indicates we don't understand, and we might feel confused about that. So let's just be very specific and very careful to communicate, sort of advertise what we're doing, what we want to do, and how we want others to be included. And then at 12:21, again on Wednesday morning, Mars makes a square aspect with Jupiter. So this indicates expanding energy and initiative. So this is expansion, and it's expansive energy. Jupiter is all about growth. There is never too much as far as Jupiter is concerned, and it's very positive vibration. And Mars is about initiative and fire, our personal passions, the things that we specifically want to do, be, and have. So this one really indicates a willingness to take some risks, especially when it comes to making a new start on a big project. And our efforts may look a little rough, but they will attract attention. There's a lot of impulsive energy where Mars is concerned, especially combined with Jupiter's desire just to expand. So we want to bring some forethought and strategy, some careful communication into our efforts. Mars is an aggressive sign, but at this time, you know, and with square, you've got challenges. Mars and challenges, like, you really have to think about choosing your battles, okay? So in this case, defense is going to be the best measure you can take. We want to avoid any embarrassing or possibly dangerous interactions. Don't go on the attack without being provoked. And remember not to let yourself get burned out. Take breaks, take naps, go to sleep, eat, drink water, rest, all that stuff, okay? This is a 4-day aspect. And it doesn't come back until 2023, so we won't even see it all year next year. Again, this is a great time to start something. Especially if you've got like something big planned. It's a good time to make plans for something big that can expand your life. And yes, avoid burnout. And conflict. But really, between the two of these, you've got like 5 days of just depth. Like, look at this. Let's go deeper and let's see the extremes and let's grow as big as possible using our personal sense of initiative. All right? That's just the planets. That's what the planets are saying. And this is a square, but you know, it's hard to pick a fight with Jupiter. It's easy to pick a fight with Mars. It's hard to pick a fight with Jupiter, okay? So if Mars can keep that fiery ambition in check, keep ourselves dedicated to maintaining careful communication and interactions with one another, we have a great opportunity to start something big and beautiful for ourselves right here. Set some intentions, choose a course of action. Blessed. Coming up this week, we have a first quarter moon in Pisces on Friday, in which we'll be encouraged to take action on these plans that we have been putting in place, and we're going to do this at this time with a sense of compassion and creativity. And then on Saturday, Venus runs conjunct to Pluto, and this is going to give us a few days to explore the intensification of our love habits, or, you know, like how well our love habits work when we're under a more high pressure and intensified energy. And we will talk about these things and more as they come up. That's it for today, friends. This has been your Daily Aspects, an astrological weather report for Tuesday, December 7, 2021. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below this video. And if you haven't already, please like my video and subscribe to the Old Girl channel. I will leave this up for just a little bit longer so that you may peruse it. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Melanie Rose, and I will see you all back here tomorrow for more Daily Aspects.